Before you start a business, you must first understand that success is not built on ideas, it is built on laws. Every great business, every enduring vision, every lasting success stands on the foundation of principles that never change. You see, ideas can fail, strategies can fade, and markets can collapse, but divine laws, principles of purpose and order, never fail. Too many people rush to start a business because they see others prospering. They chase money instead of mastering purpose. But the truth is, business is not about making money. It's about solving a problem, fulfilling a purpose, and serving humanity through your gift. So before you begin your business journey, you must pause, reflect, and learn the laws that govern success. Because no matter how talented you are, you cannot violate divine principles and expect to prosper. Today, I want to share with you 4 unchanging laws that every aspiring entrepreneur must know, laws that will not only help you start strong, but finish well. Before you start a business, you must understand that the foundation of every true and lasting success is purpose. Purpose is the original reason for your existence, the intention behind your creation, and the seed of your destiny. Every product is created to solve a problem, and every business is born to fulfill a specific need. Before you start anything, you must ask yourself, why do I want to start this business? What need does it meet? What problem does it solve? Whose life does it improve? Because if you do not begin with purpose, you will end with frustration. Many people enter business out of desperation, imitation, or ambition, but not revelation. They see others prospering and assume that success can be copied. Yet, the truth is, success is not a result of imitation, it is a product of discovery. Until you discover your purpose, your business has no foundation strong enough to survive time and testing. Purpose is not something you invent, it is something you uncover. It already exists within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. You are born with a unique combination of gifts, talents, passions, and burdens. These are not accidents, they are indicators of your assignment. Your purpose is hidden within what you naturally love to do and what you deeply care about. If you observe closely, the problems that disturb you the most are often the ones you were created to solve. When you align your business with your inner design, you operate with ease, creativity, and joy. Work stops being hard labor and becomes a meaningful expression of your purpose. Before you start your business, you must spend time in self-discovery. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I carry? What is my gift? What do I do better than anyone else around me? Because your gift is the source of your business. Every business is simply a platform for your gift to serve humanity. You don't start a business to make money, you start it to make a difference. Money is the reward for solving problems. The more problems you solve, the more valuable you become, and the more wealth flows to you. Therefore, your goal should never be wealth, it should be value. Money follows purpose like a shadow follows light. Purpose gives birth to vision. Vision is the clear mental picture of what your purpose looks like when it is completed. Without vision, you will lack direction. Without direction, you will waste energy. Vision gives focus, and focus gives power. When you have vision, you stop chasing every opportunity and learn to pursue the right one. You stop competing with others because you are too busy completing what you were designed to do. Purpose brings clarity, and clarity brings peace. Confusion is the evidence of disconnection from purpose. Before you start your business, settle this truth in your heart. Purpose comes before profit. Profit without purpose is exploitation, but purpose with profit is expansion. When your motive is only money, you will compromise your values to gain it. You will sell your integrity to survive. But when your motive is purpose, you will protect your values because they define you. Purpose-driven businesses last. Profit-driven ones collapse. Purpose gives your business moral power. It makes your customers trust you, your team respect you, and your market remember you. You can lose money and recover it, but if you lose purpose, you lose your foundation. Purpose produces passion. Passion is not emotion, it is conviction. It is the fire that keeps you moving when no one claps for you, when sales are low, when doors seem closed. Passion is the fuel of purpose. You cannot fake it because it comes from within. People feel it when you talk, when you sell, when you serve. Your passion convinces others that what you are doing matters. The world responds to authenticity. When your business carries purpose, people will be drawn to it because it carries life. Purpose also gives you the power to endure. Every dream will face delay, every vision will face challenge, and every business will go through seasons of testing. Without purpose, you will give up too soon. But when you know why you started, you can survive anyhow. Purpose strengthens your mind and stabilizes your emotions. It helps you to see failure not as the end, but as feedback. Purpose keeps you learning, adjusting, and growing. You cannot defeat a man or woman who knows their purpose, because they are not working for applause, they are fulfilling an assignment. Before you start your business, seek wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to apply knowledge correctly. It is understanding the principles that govern success. You must study your field, learn from mentors, and observe patterns. Purpose gives you the why, but wisdom gives you the how. The combination of purpose and wisdom creates sustainability. Many people have ideas, but few have principles. Principles protect purpose. Without principles, purpose becomes passion without boundaries. That's why before you begin, you must align your life with the principles that sustain success: integrity, discipline, stewardship, patience, and service. Purpose transforms ordinary work into extraordinary impact. A person without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, moving but not progressing, busy but not productive. Purpose brings direction to effort. It makes your work meaningful and your business significant. You were not born just to survive, you were born to contribute. Your business should be the vehicle that allows your gift to reach the world. And until you discover that gift, you are not ready to start. Before you start a business, don't look outside, look within. The greatest capital you have is not money, it's your mind. The greatest resource is not investors, it's ideas. The greatest advantage is not opportunity, it's purpose. You must invest time in vision before you invest money in venture. Many have failed, not because they didn't work hard, but because they worked hard on the wrong thing. Hard work without purpose produces exhaustion, but hard work with purpose produces excellence. When you understand purpose, every decision becomes easier. You know what to say yes to and what to avoid. You choose people who share your values. You design products that align with your mission. You spend money where it matters most. You build systems that reflect your purpose. And because your foundation is right, your growth becomes stable. Purpose makes you a leader in your field because you are not copying trends, you are setting them. The world doesn't need another business, it needs a business that knows why it exists. Purpose before profit. This is the first law of success in business. It is the law that separates the short-lived from the lasting, the ordinary from the extraordinary. Purpose is the seed, profit is the fruit. If you plant money, you may grow numbers, but if you plant purpose, you will grow legacy. Purpose is the law that governs prosperity. And until you understand it, you are not ready to begin. Before you start a business, you must understand that vision is the key that gives direction to purpose. Purpose tells you why you exist, but vision reveals what that purpose looks like in reality. Vision is the picture of your future that is born in your heart before it ever appears in your hands. Every great invention, every thriving organization, every lasting business began as an invisible image in the mind of a person who dared to see what others could not see. Vision is not imagination, it is revelation. It is seeing what could be, not just what is. You cannot build what you cannot see. If you don't have a clear vision before you start a business, you will end up wasting time, energy, and resources chasing distractions that lead nowhere. Vision gives direction to your effort. It defines your path, sharpens your focus, and channels your creativity. Without vision, you will move in circles, working hard but achieving little. When you have a clear vision, you stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. You stop being driven by the market and start influencing it. Vision gives you a sense of destiny. It keeps you from being average. It separates the purposeful from the aimless, the builders from the drifters, the leaders from the followers. Before you start a business, you must first sit down and write your vision clearly. What do you see in the future? What kind of impact do you want to make? What legacy do you want your business to leave behind? Vision gives birth to strategy. Strategy is simply the plan that turns your vision into reality, but the plan must come after the vision, not before. Too many people are busy planning with no clear picture of what they are building. Vision is the blueprint. Strategy is the construction process. Without a blueprint, even the best builders will fail. When your vision is clear, decisions become simple. You know what aligns with your purpose and what doesn't. You stop chasing every opportunity because you understand that not every open door is meant for you. Vision helps you prioritize. It tells you what to start, what to stop, and what to ignore. You must understand that vision is not born in excitement, it is born in isolation. Before you start a business, Spend time in silence. Think, reflect, listen. Don't move because others are moving. Don't start because someone told you it's a good idea. Vision is personal. It is a revelation of your assignment. It is the inner picture of what your business is meant to accomplish. If you copy another person's vision, you will only become a duplicate in a world that rewards originality. You are not called to repeat what exists, you are called to create what is missing. That's why vision must come from within. A true vision must be bigger than you. It must stretch your faith and expand your thinking. If your vision doesn't scare you, it's too small. Vision demands growth. It challenges you to learn, to evolve, to become more than you were yesterday. When you start a business with a big vision, you attract big people, people who are inspired by the size of your dream. Vision gives people a reason to follow you, to invest in you, to believe in your cause. It turns customers into partners, employees into believers, and competitors into collaborators. A business without vision dies when the founder gets tired, but a business with vision lives long after the founder is gone. Vision also creates discipline. You cannot have a clear vision and live carelessly. When you see where you're going, you automatically know what you cannot afford to do. Vision makes you selective with your time, your friends, and your activities. It demands focus. You learn to say no to distractions that don't fit the picture of your future. You stop comparing yourself with others because you understand that your journey is unique. Vision gives you peace in the process. Even when things don't happen fast, you know they will happen because you've already seen the end from the beginning. Before you start a business, don't just think about what you want to sell. Think about what you want to see. What kind of transformation do you want your business to create in people's lives? What do you want it to represent in society? The greatest entrepreneurs are not those who made the most money, but those who saw the clearest future. They saw solutions where others saw problems. They saw opportunity where others saw crisis. They saw potential where others saw failure. Vision turns obstacles into stepping stones. It helps you endure hard seasons because you can see beyond them. You don't give up because your sight goes further than your struggle. Vision determines the culture of your business. It influences how you treat people, how you make decisions, and how you define success. A. Clear vision creates consistency because it keeps everyone focused on the same goal. It helps you build a team that shares your values and works toward your dream with unity. When your vision is clear, it speaks louder than your words. People feel it in your brand, your service, your environment, and your leadership. Vision gives identity to your business. It tells the world who you are and what you stand for. Vision also gives birth to innovation. When you know where you're going, you become creative in finding ways to get there. Visionaries don't wait for perfect conditions, they create them. They are not limited by what they don't have. They work with what they do have. They don't complain about problems, they see them as opportunities for creativity. That is why before you start your business, you must fix your site before you fix your structure. Because no system can compensate for a lack of vision. Without vision, you will measure success only by profit. But with vision, you measure success by impact. Vision-driven businesses don't just produce income, they produce influence. They shift industries, transform lives, and redefine standards. They become movements, not just markets. And this is why you must never underestimate the power of a clear vision. It's not just a dream, it's a map. It shows you where you're going and keeps you steady when life tries to pull you off course. Before you start your business, protect your vision. Don't share it too early with people who cannot see what you see. Not everyone will understand it, and some will even try to discourage you. Vision is fragile when it's young. It must be nurtured in faith, fed with learning, and guarded with patience. Don't rush to prove it, grow into it. Let your work become the evidence of what you saw. Because vision is not something you talk about, it's something you live out. The strength of your business is not in your resources, but in your revelation. When you can see your future clearly, you will find the strength to walk through any present challenge. Your vision is your compass. It guides your choices, fuels your passion, and sustains your perseverance. Vision gives life to purpose. It transforms your dream into destiny and your ideas into impact. That's why, before you start your business, you must see it in your mind before you see it in the market. If you can see it, you can build it. If you can envision it, you can achieve it. Vision before venture. This is the second law of success in business. Before you start a business, you must understand that everything in life operates by principles. Principles are the eternal, unchanging laws that govern success. They are not created by man, they are discovered through wisdom. Just as gravity governs the physical world, principles govern the world of success and prosperity. You can be talented, gifted, creative, and ambitious, but if you violate principles, you will fail. Success is not a mystery. It is predictable because it is governed by laws. Principles are impartial. They don't care who you are, where you come from, or what you believe. If you obey them, they work for you. If you ignore them, they work against you. Before you start a business, you must learn, understand, and align yourself with the principles that sustain growth and stability. Principles give structure to purpose and vision. They are the foundation upon which great businesses stand. Without principles, even the best ideas collapse under pressure. Principles are not emotional, they are dependable. They don't change because times change. That's why a principle-based business can survive any economy, adapt to any culture, and thrive in any generation. Principles protect you from self-destruction. They set boundaries that keep your ambition in check and your integrity intact. Without principles, success becomes dangerous and prosperity becomes temporary. Before you start your business, you must decide what principles will govern it. Will you operate with honesty or manipulation? Will you value people or exploit them? Will you build trust or chase trends? Because the principles you choose will determine the future you experience. Many people fail in business not because they lack opportunity, but because they ignore the principles that govern character, discipline, and stewardship. It's not the size of your dream that matters, it's the strength of your foundation. Principles begin with integrity. Integrity means being whole, consistent, and truthful, doing what is right, even when no one is watching. Integrity builds trust, and trust builds business. You can have the best product in the world, but without trust, people will not stay. Integrity is the invisible capital of every successful entrepreneur. It's what attracts loyal customers, faithful employees, and divine favor. When integrity is lost, everything else eventually crumbles. Before you start a business, make integrity your greatest investment. Protect your name more than your profit, because your name is a brand that money cannot buy. Another vital principle is discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is consistency in the right direction. Many businesses fail not because they had the wrong idea, but because they lack discipline to follow through. Discipline separates dreamers from doers. It means managing your time wisely, planning your actions carefully, and executing them faithfully. Discipline is the bridge between vision and achievement. Without it, potential remains potential. You must learn to wake up early, think clearly, plan intentionally, and work diligently. Success is not a product of luck, it is the fruit of discipline applied daily. The principle of stewardship is also essential. Stewardship means managing what you have with wisdom and responsibility. Before you ask for more, you must prove faithful with what you already have. Many people want expansion without management, but growth without structure leads to chaos. You must learn how to manage your finances, your relationships, your resources, and your time. A good steward doesn't waste opportunities, they multiply them. If you misuse what is small, you will never handle what is great. Stewardship turns little into much because it honors the law of accountability. There is also the principle of service. Service means prioritizing people above profit. Every business exists to meet a need, and every customer is a person with value. When you serve genuinely, you attract loyalty. When you care about people, people care about your brand. Service is not a strategy, it's a lifestyle. True success in business comes from solving problems, not selling products. You must see your clients as partners in purpose, not targets for sales. When you serve with excellence, you create impact. And when you create impact, income follows naturally. Service is the seed that guarantees sustainability. Before you start your business, understand that principles will always test you before they bless you. There will be moments when shortcuts look tempting, when compromise seems easier, when dishonesty feels justified. But remember, every time you break a principle, the principle breaks you. Success without principles is like a house built on sand. It may rise fast, but it cannot stand the storm. Principles are your roots. They keep you grounded when the winds of pressure blow. They protect you when opportunities test your values. Principles also create order. They bring structure to your operations, clarity to your leadership, and stability to your growth. Without order, creativity becomes chaos. Without structure, innovation becomes waste. You must build your business systematically. Create systems that reflect your values. Develop habits that support your goals. Set standards for excellence, not excuses for mediocrity. A principle-based system will outlast your energy because it functions by design, not emotion. Before you start your business, you must submit your ambition to principles. Don't chase quick profit, pursue consistent progress. Principles will slow you down at first, but they will sustain you in the long run. Many rise fast but fall faster because they ignored the laws that protect longevity. You must learn patience, the principle of timing. Every seed needs time to grow. You cannot rush maturity. You cannot force harvest. Build gradually, wisely, and intentionally. Growth that comes too quickly without foundation ends in frustration. Another critical principle is excellence. Excellence is not perfection, it is doing your best with what you have. Excellence is attention to detail, consistency in quality, and commitment to improvement. Mediocrity is the enemy of greatness. If your business is built on excellence, it will stand out without shouting. Excellence speaks louder than advertising. It is your silent ambassador. When you deliver more than expected, you create trust that money cannot buy. Excellence attracts opportunities because it proves credibility. You must also understand the principle of honor. Honor means respecting those who helped you rise, valuing your mentors, and acknowledging the people who contributed to your journey. No one succeeds alone. Before you start a business, honor those who came before you, learn from their experiences, and build on their wisdom. Honor opens doors that skill alone cannot open. It creates favor with people and peace within your conscience. Principles will demand accountability. You cannot operate in secrecy and expect sustainability. You must build transparency into your structure. Let your finances be clean, your partnerships clear, and your agreements fair. Accountability attracts trust. Trust attracts investment. Investment attracts growth. Every law in business is interconnected. The principle of truth feeds the principle of trust, which feeds the principle of success. When you align with these, success becomes a natural result, not a miracle. Before you start your business, remember, principles don't fail. People fail when they ignore principles. You can predict your future by the principles you choose to live by. If you live by discipline, you will rise. If you live by honesty, you will prosper. If you live by service, you will expand. If you live by wisdom, you will endure. Principles are the invisible architecture of greatness. They are the unshakable laws that guarantee prosperity with integrity. That is why, before you start a business, you must build your foundation not on excitement, not on trends, not on emotion, but on principles. Principles before progress, this is the third law of lasting success. Before you start a business, you must understand that the greatest power in life is service. Service is the true measure of greatness. Every successful enterprise, every enduring company, every influential leader became significant because they chose to serve. Business is not about products, it is about people. It is not about selling things, it is about solving problems. The moment you forget service, you lose your purpose. Before you start your business, you must embrace the law of service, the principle that you exist to make life better for others. The more people you serve, the greater your success will become. Service is the foundation of prosperity. Money is only a reward for service rendered. The market does not pay you for your time. It pays you for the value you bring. The size of your income is determined by the scale of your impact. If you want to earn more, serve more. If you want to grow, give more. Every time you solve a problem, you increase your value. When you meet a need with excellence, people will seek you out. You don't chase money, you attract it through service. Money flows in the direction of value, and value flows from service. Before you start your business, you must decide who you are here to serve and how you will serve them better than anyone else. Service begins with love. Love is the highest motivation in business. It means caring about the people you serve, understanding their pain, and being committed to improving their lives. Love expresses itself in empathy, patience, and generosity. When you love your customers, you don't just sell, you listen. You don't just deliver, you care. You don't just profit, you add value. Love transforms transactions into relationships. Relationships build trust, and trust builds loyalty. Loyalty brings sustainability. That is why service rooted in love never fails. Before you start your business, ask yourself, what problem am I passionate to solve? What injustice or gap in the market disturbs me enough to take action? Because service is born from burden. The problems you notice are not accidents, they are assignments. The issues that frustrate you reveal the needs you are meant to fix. Every visionary leader started with a burden to make something better. Service turns that burden into a blessing. When you act on your compassion, your business becomes a ministry of transformation. Service requires humility. Humility is not weakness, it is strength under control. It means putting others first. It means being willing to learn, to listen, and to improve. Arrogance kills business because it blinds you to feedback. Humility keeps you teachable. It allows you to grow, adapt, and innovate. The humble entrepreneur never stops learning. They ask questions, seek counsel, and welcome correction. They understand that serving people is not a one-time act, it's a lifestyle of continuous improvement. Before you start a business, you must shift your mindset from ownership to stewardship. You don't own the people you serve, you are entrusted to serve them. You don't own your position, you are assigned to use it responsibly. You don't own your resources, you manage them for a greater purpose. When you see yourself as a servant leader, your business becomes a channel of blessing, not just a source of income. Service changes your perspective from how can I get to how can I give. That's where true prosperity begins. The principle of service also demands excellence. You cannot claim to serve people and give them mediocrity. Service means doing your best every time, even when no one is watching. Excellence is respect for the people you serve. It's your silent way of saying, you deserve my best. When you serve with excellence, you build credibility. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel through your service. Excellence in service turns ordinary customers into lifelong supporters. Before you start your business, understand that service is not seasonal, it is eternal. Trends may change, technology may evolve, but service will always remain relevant. The companies that last are those that continue to serve even after they succeed. They never become too big to care, too rich to listen, or too powerful to help. When you stop serving, you start declining. Greatness is maintained by continuing to serve even when you no longer need to. Service also demands sacrifice. You cannot serve people effectively without giving something up: time, comfort, convenience, or pride. True service costs you something, but the return is always greater. When you serve sincerely, you sow seeds that produce loyalty, favor, and goodwill. The people you help today become the foundation of your future success. Service is the seed that multiplies influence. Before you start your business, learn to see people as your greatest asset, not your greatest expense. Employees, customers, suppliers, and even competitors, they are all opportunities for service. When you treat people with respect and honor, you build a network of goodwill that no amount of marketing can buy. People remember kindness more than competence. Competence gets you business, kindness keeps it. Service is the essence of leadership. Leadership is not about control, it is about contribution. The true leader asks, how can I help others rise? When you make service your business philosophy, you automatically become a leader in your field. People follow those who serve them best. They trust those who genuinely care. Leadership is simply service in motion. The greater your service, the greater your influence. Before you start a business, remember, the marketplace rewards servants, not masters. The world is filled with people looking for someone who will serve them with integrity, passion, and care. When you commit to serving others faithfully, you will never lack opportunities. Service opens doors that skill alone cannot open. It attracts partnerships, creates favor, and builds legacy. Service is also the cure for selfishness. Selfishness focuses on taking. Service focuses on giving. Selfish people build businesses that die with them, but servants build businesses that live beyond them. Service makes your vision bigger than yourself. It turns profit into purpose and success into significance. The greatest joy in business is not in making money, but in making a difference. Before you start a business, engrave this truth in your heart. You were not born to be served, but to serve. Every great destiny is fulfilled through service. Service is the law that unlocks success, the principle that transforms labor into legacy, and the path that turns dreams into impact. If you want your business to grow, serve. If you want it to endure, serve. If you want it to matter, serve.